fog where I couldn't see 5 feet in front of me. I've had snow that was blowing sideways. I've had rainstorms and lightning. I've had gale force winds so many times I've lost count. And even had a transit through the Cape Cod Canal once at zero visibility, making 7 knots. I couldn't see anything except the radar screen. I had 70,000 barrels of jet fuel going to Boston, and there was nowhere to stop, nowhere to turn around. You just had to gut it out and take it through. So that was the most intense video game I ever played. My name is Captain Bill Bricado. I work on the ATV Nicole Lee Reinauer. Presently, our cargo is gasoline. We deliver gasoline, refined gasoline, and we're moving something that's as larger than most ships were during World War II. The tankers that ran in World War II didn't carry as much as we carry with one trip here. This unit's fairly large. We can carry upwards of 6 million gallons of cargo at a time. So the general trend of weather we see, when it gets really extreme, when we get these big, huge winter storms and such, most of us stay put. Our biggest enemy is heavy wind when we're in a light condition or fog, which is going to reduce our visibility. You don't want to move something this big when you can't see where you're going, because realistically the boat will take more than the crew. Well, that was March 1st. The saying goes, in like a lion, out like a lamb. Well, it was definitely coming in like a lion. We had winds upwards of 45 knots and seas 10 to 12 feet. And it was blowing like hell. And that kind of weather that we were out in, if I were on a conventional tug, we would have been sitting nice and fat and happy somewhere at a dock waiting for the weather to die down. So the design of this vessel makes it possible to get underway and move cargo when others are weatherbound. We're mechanically connected to our barge. There's a pair of pins that come out almost like an axle at the forepart of the vessel that actually lock into the barge, so the tug can pitch fore and aft independent of the barge, but it rolls the same period as it'll roll one side to the other the same as the barge, like a ship. So it gives us a great deal of tolerance for weather. Let's see, the worst I've been in was 25-foot seas coming back from the acid dumps off New Jersey. I was on an 82-foot tugboat towing a 310-foot barge, and I had 25 feet on the stern. That was an interesting ride. It was like skiing moguls that were 20 feet high. It was crazy. Luckily we were just idling back while we rode it off. It was like a duck. The stern would lift, the bow would tip down right up over the wave, and then settle back down into the trough, which was nice. It was a comfortable ride. I wouldn't have wanted to have been heading into it. We like to think of recreational boaters as our guests. So we're dealing with recreational traffic, which this time of year, of course, is our nemesis. We see the Memorial Day weekend as the beginning of the gauntlet. I have to be psychic most of the time when it comes to recreational traffic. I have to look at the group of boats ahead of me and decide which one has decided that today is his last day, and then avoid him. Let the big boat go first. 20,000 tons of steel and gasoline headed down your way, and you don't want to get out of the way. That's kind of crazy. Especially the people we see on these jet skis. We call them population control volunteers because they just put themselves in harm's way without a thought. This boat turns two 12-foot propellers. They're 12 feet in diameter. They spin at about 240 to 250 times per minute. To get that much mass stopped is impossible in a short distance. It doesn't happen. We have to deal with, current and wind and available draft and bottom suction and bank cushion and all these things that the average guy never heard of. This is the only job where you not only have to worry about, getting up and coming to work in the morning, but on your way you might be taking on water or you might be on fire, and you really don't have many options in that case except to deal with it. Years ago, back, I think it was 2003, when the Bouchard 125 exploded in Staten Island. They had roughly 2.5–3 million gallons of gasoline on board when the barge exploded. Killed 2 people right away, injured another fella on the dock. That thing unzipped. basically came apart like you would peel a banana. The sizes of the steel that you see flying in the air were bigger than a minivan. It was just enormous, and I was down there. I was down there to help take a barge out of the way, get it out of harm's way. And the barge that's in the foreground of that video is the one I pulled out of the way. That's the very real danger that we face. You know, we're basically a bomb. And the only reason it doesn't go off is because the